Hi, I'm Rosa from Growing Wisdom. I'm a master gardener operating in Edmonton, Alberta. Today I'm going to show you how to transplant seedlings. So today we're going to do some pricking out of plants, which is really just transplanting plants that you've grown closely together into their own pots. Now this one is a black-eyed Susan called Goldilocks. Truthfully, I left them way too long. Ideally, you'd want them very small when you transplanted them, but life is never ideal. This will still work. So the first thing is we're going to take it out of its pot. And as you can see, we have a lot of pretty darn good root growth here. So we're going to drop it because we need to open it up a bit. Maybe give it a bit of a squeeze. These really were left a little too long, which is too bad, but they'll still work. So now I'm going to just sort of unroll it and open it up. And two different sized pots, because it's really going to depend on how extensive the root systems are in which pot they're going to fit. So we're going to fill up both. I'm using potting soil. Of course, you don't want to use garden dirt. That's actually very heavy, and the more you water it in a little pot like this, the more compacted it gets and you don't get good root growth. So we're going to fill it up like this. You don't want to have it too tight. And then you could use a dibble. I always lose mine in the greenhouse, so we're using a pencil. We're going to want to make a nice little hole in the center like this. There we go. And then in case the roots are quite large, we're going to put it in this longer pot, and I'm actually just going to fill it up part way, like that. Now, let's see if we can find a likely prospect here. We'll start on the outside. I always start on the outside. And you want to just give it a little tug. Now, we always work from the leaves, the little seed leaves or the real leaves. Never touch the stem, because as delicate as you think you might be, you'll end up crushing it and you will not get a good growth. Look, this one's nice, not too big. So we're going to just pop them in here, sort of push the soil down as we go, and add a little bit extra. So I'm kind of holding him up so that he is at the right spot, because I'd like it at the top. Okay, now we're going to fill this whole tray up. See if I can find another one. I think this one's probably going to be nice and large. So we're going to see if we can't tease this guy out. There we go. Now, if I pop this in here, I'm really going to cram in the roots. So we're going to put it in this one instead. I'll put a bit of a little hole down the center there. And I want him right up here. There we go. So we're going to fill. You, of course, do not have to hold it in such an odd way. There we go. And I'm giving it a good firm push as we go around. That is very important. You do not want air pockets in here once you've planted him, because they don't do well with air pockets. So we've got that. And now we're just going to quickly plant up the rest of this small one. Now that's quite the root, but I think that I can still, oh, maybe not. Okay, we'll put you to the side. The big trick when you're doing this is that you work, now this one's nice and small, that you work reasonably quickly, because you don't want the roots to dry out. You will find, after you've planted these up, that they'll look kind of floppy and a little, maybe even a little sad for the first day or two. Not to worry. Generally speaking, they pop right back up again, so you'll have no problem. There we go, that's good. All right, so we'll poke you in here. There we go. All right, even them out. All right, and the next step, and a very important one, is that you label this pot, because you may think you're going to know what this is 6 or 8 weeks from now, but trust me, you will not remember. So we have black-eyed Susan, and And I will put today's date, which is March the 3rd, so that I know when I transplanted them. So we're going to put them in here. And then we definitely need to water. And when I'm transplanting them into the next size up pot, I always use fertilizer. Today we're using 20-20-20. We have just discovered, the news research is showing that the middle number, really you want it to be low or non-existent if you can. It just causes better growth. But again, ideal is great, but not what we have in real life. So we're going to just go with this. We're going to give it a good watering. Everything's going to kind of settle a bit and flop. Oop, just like that. And like I said, the first few days they tend to do that. They look a little funny, they look a little floppy, but they will perk right back up again. There we go. Oop. Floating around. Do not panic if they float around. They will recover. Give this guy some water. A little bit more. The idea is to give it enough water that you have gone all the way down to the bottom of the pot, but not enough to drown it. And make sure when you're doing this that you start out with damp potting soil. Anyway, that's about it. We're done.